This is what winning looks like. People don't say they watch MMA, they say they watch the UFC. It doesn't just dominate, it is the conversation. But there was a moment when this empire was on its knees.
ただいまよりサマーナイトフィーバーダイナマイト格闘技ワールドカップを開催します。以上、オス。
K1 fighters, we're going to have Pride fighters, we're going to have Pride fighters fighting in K1 fights and K1 fighters fighting in Pride fights. And it's just so many people here. It's got to be 70, 80,000. It's really the biggest show I've ever seen, really.
In 2003, the center of the fight world wasn't America. It was Japan.
There he is, the man, the godfather of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu himself, Helio Gracie. And they're going to be handing in the torch.
And in Japan, it burned brighter than anywhere else.
Shockwave here in Japan is also called dynamite, but it's all about... Yeah! Look at this shot, ladies and gentlemen. It's a lot like the Olympics. It's such grand scale. There has never been a martial arts show like this, especially an outdoor martial arts show.
90,000 people gathering for violence. Millions watching on television. Fighters paid like royalty. In America, the UFC was rebuilding. In Japan, this was the major leagues. And then, across the Pacific, one man was watching. The president of the UFC, Dana White, sent his most dangerous weapon into that arena.
The UFC being represented from Chuck Liddell, and that means we have a special guest, a man that's got a loaded pocket and a lot of interest in this bout. The president of UFC joins Boss and I here, Dana White. Dana, I know you're trembling. I know you're feeling it right now.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't.
Chuck Liddell was the UFC's knockout artist, their symbol of power, the man they believed would prove something. Dana White even placed a bet, $250,000, that Pride could bleed.
Here with the president of the UFC, Dana White, and first question, $250,000 that he'll win the tournament?
Standing before him stood a very different kind of animal. But the war wasn't decided that night.
Welcome to the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
There was a time when the UFC had fireworks, lights, and 3 ladies singing the national anthem. The promotion came a long way since 1993. The fighters were becoming more and more well-rounded. The fan base was growing. It really tried its best to put a product that could connect with an audience by giving the fans what they wanted. The best fighting the best. But it was struggling financially, and a fight promoter named Dana White had this crazy idea: buy the company, with 2 investor friends called the Fertitta brothers.
Dana White, president of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Dana, congratulations on your first show. That's got to feel good.
Thank you very much, James. I appreciate it. We're very excited. We got a sellout crowd here, 5,000 people, revved and ready to go.
This was 2001. They were far from being the juggernaut they're known as today, because at that time, the UFC were the small guys. The big guys were on the other side of the planet, in Japan.
Boss Wounded, we are inside the state-of-the-art venue known as the Saitama Super Arena, and this is it, the premier mixed martial arts event of the year.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pride 14.
Well, Boss Ruben, we have taken things inside the Osaka Castle Hall, this tremendous venue, getting ready to play host to Pride 27 Inferno.
Yes, it is. The famous seafood slaughters we have there. Bunch of good fighters. And look at this show. Woo! Here we go again, ladies and gentlemen.
This is Pride Fighting Championship, and to understand Pride FC, you have to understand Japan. Combat is not a sport in Japan, it's a tradition. It goes back centuries, from jiu-jitsu evolving into judo, from sumo wrestling filled with ritual and ceremony.
Bezoekers van het sumo-stadion.
Fighting wasn't entertainment in Japan, it was identity. Then came the influence of the West. American and British pro wrestling arrived and the Japanese embraced it. But they wanted something more. They wanted to know what happened when the script was torn up.
木村力道山の下腹部を蹴りましたので力道山大いに奮撃螺鈿リング上は始まりまして木村完全にと
In 1951, the greatest judo fighter in Japan flew to Brazil to fight the godfather of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Helio Gracie. Japan had been calling Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fake, even as the Gracie family had been defeating Japanese fighters. Helio's students brought a coffin to the stadium for the Japanese fighter. The president of Brazil sat ringside, and the Japanese fighter broke Helio's arm. Japan had won and Brazil never forgot. This beef between both countries only got deeper. In 1976, Muhammad Ali stepped into a ring with Antonio Inoki, a Japanese pro wrestling legend with a beautiful chin.
I predict that I will win. I predict that it shall all be over in round 8.
round 8.
Round 8.
15,000 people packed the arena, 2 million pay-per-view buys in America, 54 million viewers in Japan, 1.4 billion people watch worldwide. And the fight was mostly boring and ended as a draw. Inoki spent 15 rounds on his back kicking Ali's leg. There were weird clauses in the contract, but that wasn't the point. The question had been, what happens when a boxer meets a wrestler? What happens when styles collide? And Japan had found its obsession. By 97, that obsession had a home. Pride. No, not that Pride. This one.
It's the same gym where...
Pride Fighting Championship was born from a single fight. Japan versus Brazil. East versus West. 46 years of unfinished business. Tomohiko Takada, one of Japan's most beloved pro wrestlers, against Rickson Gracie, a man with a record so extraordinary it would make Khabib's fan base cry. 450 wins, 0 losses. Apparently. It was a clash of worlds, the spectacle of pro wrestling against the legitimacy of a true martial artist. Nearly 50,000 people packed the Tokyo Dome. They didn't know exactly what they were watching, they just knew they couldn't look away. Takada backed away from Rickson wearing a look of terror. Japan's hero was being exposed. Rickson won fairly easy, and the crowd was heartbroken. They wanted revenge, and Pride gave them that. A rematch was made, and what started as one fight became something no one predicted. Pride gave the audience exactly what it wanted, unlike what today's UFC are doing.
How's everybody? You guys good? We have Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. You happy? You mad?
The matchmaking was fearless. Fights the audience was desperate to see. Styles colliding that had never met before. They gave them David versus Goliath. The rules were different: soccer kicks, knees to grounded opponents, a violence so unfiltered it made everything else look like a schoolyard. Real BMFers. America simply wasn't ready for it. And then there were a ton, so much steroids.
White trunks, and Nogueira shoots for the takedown! Oh!
Everybody knew, nobody stopped it. Because the fights were extraordinary and the audience didn't come for a clean sport. They came for war. It was so brutal that every member of every human rights services would have lined up to defend the rights of the most violent man in the building. Now, were all the fights clean? There are rumors, fixed outcomes, fighters paid to withdraw last minute, questionable decisions from judges, but even with all that, it was a better product than anything else on the planet, and everyone in the fight world knew it. Even the man who built the UFC came here. Royce Gracie, the first UFC champion, the man whose family created the promotion itself. Even he fought in Japan because this is where the world was watching. This wasn't just fighting, this was martial arts lineage, national pride. The best fighters in the world didn't just compete here, they came here to be crowned. If this was a war, one side already looked like Rome. Empires look strongest right before they fracture. But in 2003, Pride didn't know that yet.
Hi Beth, hi Stefan, I'm Risa Stegmaier, and the Pride Series, Pride number 13, has finally come. The main event is taking place tonight right here in Saitama. And before this big event starts, look behind me, all the t-shirts are being sold. T-shirts with their fighters' names on them, and they're selling like mad. Look at all these Japanese people all lined up waiting to buy the t-shirts.
While Pride was filling stadiums with 60,000 screaming fans, the UFC was in trouble. It was dropped by most cable providers, and Senator John McCain called it human cockfighting, tried to shut it down.
What it was at the beginning was human cockfighting. It was. I mean, I've seen people repeatedly getting smashed in the face with a guy sitting on top of him. That's not a sport.
When Dana bought the company in 2001, he couldn't even find a venue for the first event. Most venues said no, they didn't believe in it. They weren't comfortable about the type of crowd that would show up.
And to my right, he's a freestyle wrestling champion.
He eventually found one person willing to take him, Donald Trump's hotel, Atlantic City. That's where Dana White's UFC began. Meanwhile in Japan, Pride was taking everything. And when I say everything, I mean the UFC's own champions. Mark Kerr, two-time UFC heavyweight tournament champion, one of the most feared men on the planet. He left the UFC after his second tournament win and never looked back. He made $1.8 million fighting in Pride alone.
What was the biggest check you got in Japan?
Yeah, a little over $500,000.
Damn. Back then, that was a lot.
Cash.
Then came Mark Coleman, another previous UFC heavyweight champion, gone to Japan. Murilo Bustamante, a UFC middleweight champion. He defended his title in one of the most controversial fights you'll ever see. Fought Matt Lindland, and Matt claimed he never tapped to an armbar. The ref stopped it. The crowd was furious. Bustamante, he won anyway. But then came contract negotiations with Uncle Dana. Dana's team came back with an offer lower than what Bustamante was making before he even won the belt. Pride call, Bustamante answered, vacated the UFC belt, he was gone. The message to the rest of the world was simple. If you want the best fight, you go to Japan. If you want the best paycheck, you go to Japan. If you want 50,000 people screaming your name during your walkout, you go to Japan. Now Dana knew this. He wasn't blind and he wasn't bald yet. But here's the thing about Dana White. Humiliation doesn't slow him down. It fuels him.
Go Torn what?
The winner of the Pride Grand Prix.
Chuck's gonna wipe that whole thing out. It's not even. As far as Pride and UFC getting together, no, we're not getting together or anything like that. Like I said, I've said before, it started with a little smack talk between me and the president of Pride, and now Chuck's over there and he's gonna beat up their light heavyweight division.
He wasn't trying to beat Pride. He was trying to outlive it. And then Pride's president made a phone call. Send your best fighter to Japan, compete in our tournament. Dana didn't think twice. He even put his own money where his mouth was, $250,000. His fighter would win the whole thing. This wasn't desperation. This was arrogance.
Okay, here with the president of the UFC, Dana White, and first question. 250,000 that he'll win the tournament?
Now you have to understand where Dana White was sending his fighters. This wasn't just any tournament. This was Pride Total Elimination, August 10th, 2003.
Yeah, then there was the time I fought Sakuraba. Now, he had me a little Kimura and the ref called it. I was in no pain. I didn't tap out. It was fixed, I'm telling you. Big Bad Fedor's next on my list.
Hey, Damon Perry. I'm Boss Regan. We're going to be working together on the show. Do you mind if I take a seat?
No, boss, please. I was just explaining some of my submission moves to the lovely Pride ring girls here.
Submission moves?
Yeah, boss, have a beer on me.
Oh, your excessive submission moves. Yeah, that's why they call you the dog. That's right.
Thank you, boss.
Hey, but listen, are you ready for tonight's fights?
Oh, how can you not be? UFC clashing with Pride. As a matter of fact, this could be about who it was, who it is, and who it shall be. I think the real question is, are you guys ready?
Dana sent two guys of the UFC, Chuck Liddell and Rico Rodriguez. Let's talk about Rico first. Rico had been the UFC heavyweight champion. He beat Randy Couture to win that belt. He won it, then lost it in his very first defense to a 6'8" fighter named Tim Sylvia. So Rico arrived in Japan as a former champion, and he fought Pride's former heavyweight champion Minotauro Nogueira. Now where it gets interesting, Rico actually controlled that fight. He was physically dominating one of the best fighters on the planet, but Pride didn't score fights like the UFC did. In Pride, control means nothing if you're not trying to finish. Damage and finishing attempts means everything. And while Rico was holding Nogueira down, Nogueira was going for submissions. The judges gave it to Nogueira. Dana's first guy was eliminated, but he remained humble and even handshake Nogueira. Then there was Chuck, but this wasn't his first time. Back in 2001, Chuck walked into Pride 14.
A great matchup. We have the UFC invading Pride. Chuck Liddell just KO'd Kevin Randleman in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. He's stepping into Pride now to fight one of our best fighters in Guy Mesger.
This was a time where UFC fighters had open contracts and could fight anywhere in the world. He fought Guy Mesger, and Chuck knocked him out so hard, he left him unconscious and mangled on the canvas. Japan already knew who Chuck was, and Chuck already knew what Pride felt like. This time he came back with something to prove. He fought an up-and-comer, a young Alistair Overeem, a fighter who would go on to become one of the most feared meat eaters on the planet. But not that night.
Back in Saitama Super Arena for our second fight of the night. Total Elimination 2003, Damon the Dog Barry along with Boss Rutan, and this one has been talked about, thought about. It is the UFC being represented from Chuck Liddell against an up-and-comer from your hometown, Alistair Overeem, and that means we have a special guest, a man that's got a loaded pocket and a lot of interest in this bout. The president of UFC joins Boss and I here, Dana White. Dana, I know you're trembling. I know you're feeling it right now.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't.
Absolutely. And Boss, this one right here, his boy Chuck, and an up-and-comer really in Overeem with the high knees. This has got to be one of the most anticipated fights of the night.
I think so too. I think really, and I told you before, the people at home, they get safe to see here Chuck coming up. Like Dana said before, he is so ready after his loss against Couture. He said, okay, let's get this straight. Let's go here to Japan and bring that belt home. He is so focused. But like you said, he's going to face Alistair Overeem, a very good striker. Good knees, he's going to the head, fake the front punches, front kicks. I don't know about this.
And you're going to be tough. You can see the Iceman coming out with the bold UFC now. I tell you, Dana White, the atmosphere here in Japan, this is phenomenal. And, you know, I'll tell you, Chuck is such a great guy, and he's having fun all week, but you know, all of you got to be just taken aback when you get this. I mean, you're the man when you walk into these arenas.
It's awesome. It's unbelievable. You know, when we're in the States and we get 13,000 people, we're blown away. When I just walked into the arena about 20 minutes ago, I couldn't believe it. It's amazing to see this many people in one place at the same time.
It's like they got lost on their way to the Super Bowl and ended up here.
Absolutely, exactly.
This is about as big as it gets. Now, obviously, Chuck is a little ticked off as you hear Dana White cheering on his man because of his loss. He smiles at his boy Dana White. And then again followed by the left knee. And he is dazed. Liddell right. The two now back toe-to-toe, if you will. It's a knee to the body, another knee.
Long-rangey guy like that to block everything you do and has a lot of reach on you. But again, nothing we didn't anticipate. Just see what happens here.
Yeah, Brown came out with a lot of adrenaline. Looks like he is a bit tired.
Looks like he got a little rock there too. 2 rights,
and two rights, 3 rights, and a knee. Alex is definitely hurt. Liddell now. Chuck Liddell, unbelievable.
Really excited. Chuck came into the ring and gave me this and goes, I'll give you the other half in November. I'm putting that belt on my desk. We're taking it. I'm coming for it.
And Dana's plan had announced itself. But look at what else was happening on that card. Wanderlei Silva was there. Mirko Cro Cop was there. And a man known as Rampage Jackson was there. And he was making a statement of his own.
I'm here in Japan today because Dream Stage Entertainment president Mr. Saki Kibara made some comments recently about the UFC and continued to say some things about the UFC, when in reality I had been trying to make fights between Chuck Liddell ever since he knocked out Guy Mesger here in one of the Pride events. The fight originally that we had wanted was against Wanderlei Silva, the Pride champion, but I see this as a much better opportunity for Chuck to come in and face all the top middleweights in Pride. So when the challenge was made, I was more than happy to stand up and accept this challenge. Chuck Liddell will win the Pride Grand Prix. He is one of the best middleweights in the UFC and in the world.
First of all, I want to say that I have to disagree with Dana White and Chuck Liddell. You know what I'm saying? I know that one American will win this tournament. You know what I'm saying? I always bet on black. You know what I'm saying? I like the UFC. Y'all good. The Pride got the best fighters, man. We put it down. You slam them, knee them to the head. You see the best action here, you know what I'm saying? I like the UFC. Y'all good. But Pride is where it's at. Pride is Ichiban. Remember that.
The opponent who shows respect but is still willing to take your head off is the most dangerous one. Now Rampage had to face Murilo Bustamante, the former UFC middleweight champion, the one who vacated his UFC belt because of contract disputes. Now regardless, Bustamante was a world-class submission artist. He threw everything at Rampage. Choke attempts, arm bars, but it wasn't enough. Rampage somehow survived every single submission attempt, and he walked out with a decision. Now, the reality was, a UFC champion had brought his very best, and Rampage just took it. And now Chuck was walking straight into the middle of it. Standing before him was something the UFC had never quite prepared for. Dangerous, unpredictable, and completely unbothered.
Told you he'd pick him up and slam him to the
He's out! He's out! He knocked him out! Unbelievable!
A electrifying turn of events!
The wait is over, boss. Look at the explosions inside the Tokyo Dome. Nearly 60,000 will pack it. The final conflict, and conflict it will be. Pride Grand Prix 2003. Look at the atmosphere.
Look at the water. The water is spraying up. Unbelievable.
Damon the Dog burying along with Boss. Yeah. What the
I'm a Houston fan. I'm telling you, I feel good about this. I'm nervous. I'm very nervous. I haven't slept in like 4 days, but he's ready for this. He's ready for this fight just like he was last time, and nothing we can do now. The hard work's been done. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
And another elimination also. I think he can take a shot.
There's a good right by Quinn. You know, the thing about Chuck, there's another solid right hook. He's definitely got him at least.
Yes, he did, but maybe Chuck.
There's that combination with that right hook.
Throw some leg kicks, put some action.
There's another one of those whirling rights that lands for fight has not gone. There's another one of those whirling rights.
Body and then that right.
There's a good left and a nice. An exchange. Right to left to the chin. Nothing out there. Now he's picking him up. So that left got him in. Liddell goes down. And there's a knee. All right.
Chuck's not really fulfilling the game plan right now to stop those knees.
He's got a knee and an up.
Unbelievable.
Where do you find it? Right hand lands there. Rampage. Oh, it's just a nice thing. Control.
Body's exactly what he's doing. What he's doing. See,
Getting two. There's two.
Now he's going to go for the full guy. It's over.
It's over. What happened?
I don't know what happened.
Could not tell from this angle. I don't know if Chuck said enough was enough.
I don't know.
He threw in the towel.
But they threw in the towel. That was
They
the
threw in the
reason.
towel. That is the word we're getting right now, Dana White. Towel thrown in by Chuck's corner. Obviously, you've got to be disappointed.
This was not the script. And Rampage wasn't even Pride's best fighter. He was ranked number 4. This fight wasn't even close.
His corner wants him up, and you know what the crowd wants.
Yeah, and otherwise push the leg up.
That's trouble.
He's got it.
He's got it. He got it.
This wasn't just a fight card, this was a tournament. There were quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. The tournament continued into the finals. Murilo Bustamante came back on short notice, replacing his teammate Ricardo Arona to face a dangerous Dan Henderson, one of the most underrated fighters of all time. And Henderson finished him like a Mortal Kombat fatality.
Rollins has to not be taken down, and now he's just landing combinations, and that is it. That is it.
Then we had Minotauro Nogueira capture the heavyweight tournament by submitting the legendary left kick hospital, right kick cemetery, Mirko Cro Cop. Mirko was a killer, and this was his first loss in his MMA career. And finally, we had Vanderlei Silva, the axe murderer, the king of violence and pride, facing the same Rampage who had just crushed the UFC and Dana White's wet dream.
Oh, this is one of the best stare-downs we'll see, guys.
But Vanderlei, he didn't care. He was more than happy to unleash 17 consecutive knees to Rampage's head, a finish worthy of a BMF title. Rampage had no answer. He collapsed into the ropes. And if Rampage had no answer for Vanderlei, then Chuck never stood a chance. And this was a message to the entire sport. Pride wasn't just winning. It basically humiliated the UFC. And for a moment, it felt untouchable.
What are the chances of seeing them come over here pretty quick?
None.
Now joined by Mr. Takada. He is the executive producer of the Pride organization.
Pride keeps rant. They're going to come to America and they're going to take over. They're going to crush the UFC. They're going to send this guy and that guy over here. They never send anybody.
I will send Sakuraba and Fujita to Octagon.
They never come over here. They're not doing anything.
Oh, that is an absolutely amazing announcement.
席を担ってこの机に座っている人がこれからのプライドの未来がぐっと開けるとそれを開くのはここにいる選手であり
Pride didn't just produce fights. It produced moments that made you question what the hell you were watching. Moments that had no right to exist. Moments that only happened here. Let me just explain to you what I mean. Don Fry, the man who drinks a glass of testosterone every morning for breakfast. He stepped into that ring against Yoshihiro Takayama, a 6'5" Japanese pro wrestler. Nobody thought Takayama stood a chance, and they were right. From the opening bell, both men grabbed each other by the back of the head and started swinging like two toddlers fighting over the last chicken nugget. Just two men trying to remove each other's faces. Fry landed 65 punches in 30 seconds, and the referee cried like a man during the fight, as he said it was an honor to be part of it. Then there was Fedor, the greatest heavyweight that has ever lived, against Kevin Randleman, an explosive freak of nature of a wrestler. Randleman picked Fedor and flew with him across the ring, suplexed him directly onto his neck.
Look around.
The kind of impact that ends careers. Fedor got up, got back to top position, and submitted him. And then there was this, a young Anderson Silva, a striker so dangerous nobody wanted to stand with him. He was completely dominating his opponent, so dominant he even landed a suplex in the second round. For those who don't know, Anderson Silva doesn't land suplexes, he's a striker, but this was his level of confidence. Then with the fight almost over,
right away should kick with the right leg inside out.
Take away the lead.
Oh, look at this! Whoa, this is good! Unbelievable! This is beautiful! This is the next level! Wow!
Are you kidding me?
the man who would go on to become arguably the greatest UFC middleweight champion of all time, tapped to a flying heel hook from a fighter almost nobody remembers? This was the world the UFC was competing against, a world where the impossible happened regularly, where people would show up because they knew anything could happen, practically anything.
I remember the first time I noticed that the mob had something to do with Pride. I saw these guys walking down the hallway like.
On June 5th, 2006, the network that had made Pride a household name, Fuji Television, terminated their contract, effective immediately. Why? A Japanese magazine had been investigating Pride for months. What they uncovered was a massive problem.
So, say if Coca-Cola goes over there and they open up a plant in Japan, they must go through the Yakuza?
They'll have back connections, yes, definitely. I mean, the thing that people don't realize is in Japan, everything is Yakuza involvement. Every big company, every big promotion.
They revealed that the Yakuza, the largest Japanese organized crime at that time, was running Pride. Not just involved in it, they were running it. They laundered money through the promotion, funded fighter pay, controlled the gambling around every event. It was a dirty game, but the darkest moment happened 3 years earlier. In January 2003, Pride's founding president, the man who built the entire empire, was found dead in a hotel room, officially ruled a suicide. And to this day, nobody really knows what happened that night. Fuji TV wanted nothing to do with any of it. And without Fuji TV, the money stopped. The sponsors left. Pride was never run like a business. It was run like an empire. And empires, they don't have backup plans. And yet, in Vegas 2006, Pride's president, Sakakibara, stood in front of cameras. He told the press that Pride was here to stay, that everything was fine. Pride lost an estimated $40 million. They signed Mike Tyson to a contract. Tyson fighting MMA fighters in boxing matches. His original opponents in mind were Fedor and Krokop. Think about that for a second. A boxing match between Mike and Fedor, but the fights never happened. Another promise, another headline, another empty announcement from a promotion trying to stay alive.
Ever since Pride started in 1997.
You know, all this UFC and the cage fighting nowadays, you know, it's always been geared towards wrestlers.
Our champions are the best fighters in the world.
I feel like the Japanese, they kind of knew how the martial arts went and how it should be.
Pride has had over 600 fights, 60 events in the past 10 years.
The rematch! It's the real deal, Fedor versus Coleman!
We are planning 4 events in the United States, and we will increase the number of events in the coming years. And we are here to stay.
I will be back. I will fucking be back. He's the best. I'll be back, I guarantee it. I got a lot of work to do, but I'll be back. Come here, baby. Come here, baby. I'm okay. Daddy's okay, baby. Daddy's okay, baby. Come on, I'm okay. I feel good. Daddy feels great. Daddy feels great. Daddy feels great, baby, okay?
We used to have a whole other organization called Pride with different rules, and I think it worked out way more, you know, for exciting fights.
Fedor, welcome to the United States. Thank you. Thank you so much. Fedor Emelianenko, ladies and gentlemen, a hand for the still undefeated champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's hear it.
I've been waiting for this for years.
What is the fight that saved UFC?
Because so we're $30-something million in the hole. I get the call from Lorenzo, and he's like, I can't keep doing this, man. We're bleeding money. I started making all these calls.
To really sell it?
Yeah.
We went around to all the networks. We pitched them every type of show you could think of. Everybody was terrified of it.
They were still thinking of it as the old product.
Yeah, they were terrified. This was something that wasn't allowed on pay-per-view.
I call him back in the, 6, 7 at night. I said, 6, 7, 8 million bucks. We could sell this thing for right now.
The Trojan Horse was the Ultimate Fighter reality show.
Literally calls me the next morning, 7 in the morning, and says, fuck it. Fuck it, let's keep going.
The Fertittas and White ended up producing and paying for a television series themselves. In 2005, they debuted The Ultimate Fighter.
We meet with these guys and we pitch them on the idea for The Ultimate Fighter.
I mean, you were the first to take a risk on this sport.
They don't like it.
Why the UFC?
Spike's strategy has always been to look at fringe sports and see if there's a way to make them mainstream, and the UFC seemed like a sport, that was on the rise.
So we end up calling them back and saying, well, how about if we pay for it? We'll put up the $10 million to produce this show.
Wow.
And then you guys air it for free. They like that idea a lot better. Yeah.
Gentlemen, you have a very unique opportunity. Many fighters from all over the world dream of someday fighting in the UFC.
So this is the last 10 million that the Fertittas are going to invest in the UFC. I start flying to New York, and I'm waiting in the lobby of Spike TV, and they won't even see me. We still don't have a deal for a season 2 or any of that. So we get into the finale. Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonner go out and put on that fight. When that fight happened, I knew.
It's his nose. I would really hate to see the fight stop because of this. It doesn't look like they're going to stop it because it's not any danger of going into his eye. The crowd in here is just on its feet. Oh, uppercut just missed. Toe-to-toe they go. Oh, and a left kick right hand by Bonner.
I've been a fan of Pride for many years.
Nice exchange. Good punches by Bonner inside Forrest to get the top.
This is not about business. It's not about making money. This is about
What is keeping these guys going?
putting together the dream fights that me and you as a fan have always wanted to see.
まあ
去る者もいれば、そのまま、プライドの魂を持ってこのプライドを新たなステージに向けて進めてくれる頼もしい男がいます。高田さん、ここに来てください。
Mike, I don't even give a shit what's going to happen. We're going to end up somewhere after this. The Spike guys literally pulled us out into the alley, and we did a deal on a napkin that night for our deal with Spike TV. And that was where the whole thing turned the corner.
So finally, after 7 years, we're going to be able to answer all the questions we've been waiting to answer. All the challenges we've been waiting to make happen are now going to happen. We get to see the great fights like Fedor versus Randy Couture, Shogun versus Chuck Liddell, Gomi versus George St. Pierre, Dan Henderson versus Anderson Silva, Josh Barnett versus Andrei Arlovsky. Whatever the matchups might be, we finally now get to set the best matches ever. We, as an organization, Pride as an organization, and you, the fans, all benefit, and the fighters, to find out who really is the best fighter in the world. And make no mistake about it, I don't care that Lorenzo bought the UFC, the Pride, the UFC is coming here to kick your ass.